Have you ever had the courage to walk away from a narcissist, cut off all contact, and then found yourself wondering what's really happening inside their chaotic, manipulative mind? Are they falling into a pit of emptiness, panicking over the loss of their prey, the one who once reflected their sense of power and worth? Or are they sitting in the dark, plotting elaborate tactics to pull you back, not out of love, but because they can't stand the feeling of being abandoned, unseen, or irrelevant? Breaking free from a narcissist isn't just leaving a relationship, it's a psychological and spiritual battle. You're not only healing from the wounds they left behind, you're also confronting the shadow that still tries to drag you back through guilt, nostalgia, and self-doubt. Because to them, you were never just a lover or a partner. You were their mirror, the source of emotional fuel that kept their hollow ego alive. And when that mirror shatters, they no longer know who they are. This video is your compass. It will guide you through what truly happens when you disappear from their world. Together, we'll uncover each psychological layer, from the panic that hits when they lose control, to the rage that seeks to destroy, to the obsession that drives them to reclaim you at any cost. You'll see how they weaponize emotion itself, from fake apologies and nostalgic messages to subtle, calculated mind games. When you choose silence, what they hear isn't your absence, it's your declaration. You no longer have power over me. And that is what destroys them most. They'll try every trick to break that silence. Because to them, silence is death. It's the void where their ego cannot survive. Your act of leaving is like throwing a stone into the lake of illusion they built so carefully. The image of, I'm perfect, I'm in control, I'm adored, begins to crack. Behind the mask of calm, their mind spirals through a familiar cycle: denial, anger, manipulation, and finally despair. Not all, but nearly 90% of narcissists go through this same psychological script. A predictable pattern of emotions, almost like a pre-written play. And once you understand that script, you'll no longer be pulled into it. You'll realize that your power doesn't come from changing them. It comes from awakening and from protecting the peace within you against the storms they can no longer command. 1. Silence the first blow and the cruelest test. Right after you leave, the narcissist won't immediately explode in anger. No, they will choose silence, a calculated, cold, deliberate silence. They disappear not because they're suffering, but because they're watching, waiting for the slightest emotional movement from you. In their mind, this is merely a game of power. They believe you'll come back soon. They're convinced that in a few days or weeks you'll start missing them, doubting yourself, feeling empty, and eventually you'll be the one to reach out first. They bet on your compassion, on the empathy that once made you forgive even when you were hurting. They think you won't endure the silence for long, that you'll try to make peace because you were always the one who wanted to fix things. In their world, you cannot survive without them. While you're struggling to breathe again, to heal the invisible wounds, they're sitting back, calmly observing from afar, like a lazy cat watching a trapped mouse squirm. They don't strike yet, because for them, waiting is pleasure. They want you to break first, to be the one who ends the silence, so they can smile and whisper to themselves, "See, you still came back." At this stage, their silence isn't emptiness. It's a weapon. It's used like an emotional drug, designed to make you doubt yourself, wonder what you did wrong, and crave the chance to make it right. They want you to kneel before guilt and regret, because that restores their sense of power. But what if you don't react? What if you stay silent? What if you refuse to chase them? That's when confusion begins to creep in, because this scenario has never existed in their mind. In their narcissistic world, no one ever leaves without returning. You need to understand, a narcissist's silence is a double-edged sword. At first, it's used to control you, but once you stop reacting, it turns into an echo, forcing them to face the truth. Their power no longer works. They'll sit there, in their familiar room, phone in hand, staring at the screen, waiting for a notification from you. Every minute that passes without a message is a tiny cut into their ego. And when they realize you're truly not coming back, the mask of calm begins to crack. But be careful. When the cat realizes the mouse has escaped its claws, it doesn't give up. It changes tactics. The silence will soon end, giving way to the next phase, hoovering the emotional pullback through memories, guilt, and sweet words designed to numb your logic. And that's when the real power game begins. If you want to know what happens next and how not to fall back into that intricate trap, keep watching. 2. When they go on the attack, the storm of control begins. This counterattack usually starts with chaos and intensity. They bombard you with texts, emails, calls, every word and message crafted as an emotional spear aimed straight at your softest spot. The first message might seem gentle, almost harmless. I just wanted to know if you're okay. But when there's no response, the tone changes instantly. Why are you doing this to me? You're so cruel. And if you still stay silent, the floodgates open accusations, threats, even desperate pleas. Don't be surprised if your phone overflows with messages, your email inbox fills up, or your social media becomes littered with indirect public hints. None of this is reconciliation. It's a war for control. A narcissist cannot bear being ignored. In their distorted reality, to be forgotten is to be erased. So they'll do whatever it takes to make you react. Anger, pity, fear, it doesn't matter. As long as you respond, they still hold power. When every digital attempt fails, they might appear in real life suddenly, strategically. Maybe outside your home, your workplace, or at familiar places you used to go. They want to see confusion in your eyes, to feel that they still have influence. With a voice that sounds both wounded and reproachful, they'll ask, "Why did you leave me? Why are you so silent? What did I do to deserve this?" Those questions aren't meant for answers. They're psychological traps designed to pull you back into the story you've been trying so hard to escape. If you respond, they'll feel they've won, and the game resets to the beginning. If you remain silent, their ego will erupt because in their mind you're not a person, you're a possession. Your leaving is a humiliation, a dagger to their fragile self-image. They will do anything to restore their untouchable persona through lies, manipulation, or emotional violence. Understand this. Their goal is never reconciliation, it's reaction. Anger, arguments, tears, all are energy they can feed on. In a narcissist twisted world, personal boundaries are an insult. They believe everyone exists to serve their needs, and your no is seen as rebellion. But remember, silence is power. Every time you don't reply, you cut another thread of the manipulation that once bound your soul. Every time you refuse to react, you reclaim ownership of your emotions. And that drives them insane. They may scream, cry, beg, or pretend to repent, but don't forget, it's all part of the next phase of control. When brute force fails, they'll switch tones. Let's talk. Let's handle this like mature adults. But behind that calm mask lies the same intent to pull you back onto the chessboard they believe they own. So stand firm. Don't respond. Don't engage. Don't let empathy reopen the door for someone who once shattered you. Because only when you stop reacting completely, the game ends. And that, right there, is your true victory. 3. Hoovering. When the narcissist tries to suck you back in. If you followed my previous videos, you're probably familiar with the no-contact strategy, one of the most powerful methods for reclaiming your freedom from a narcissist's control. Yet many people, after practicing it for a while, face the same challenge. Hoovering, the emotional vacuuming technique designed to pull you back in. This often happens when you've finally begun to feel stable. When your emotional wounds start to close, when your heart begins to feel calm again, suddenly ping, a message appears. An email from an unknown address. A call from an unfamiliar number. On the other end, that familiar voice returns, soft and pleading. I just want to meet one last time to clear the air. I just want to apologize sincerely. And just like that, the battle you thought was over begins all over again. Narcissists know exactly when you're most vulnerable, when you think you're okay, when you no longer feel anger, only pity. They strike at your compassion, turning your empathy into a ticket back into your life. And the moment you agree to meet as mature adults, the game resets. In the first few minutes, they'll seem different, calm, kind, even self-aware. They'll say they've changed, that they've realized their mistakes, that they miss you, that they want to make things right. They'll bring up old memories, moments that once made you smile. We were happy aunts, weren't we? No one has ever understood me the way you do. I truly value what we had. Every word is carefully engineered not to reconnect, but to reignite your emotional memory. They know how easily the human heart is seduced by nostalgia, by the image of what was once good. But it's only a replay, and they are master actors in the role of the repentant one. In truth, they don't come back out of love. They come back because they've lost control. They need your reaction, your emotion, your energy to fill their inner void. When they say, I miss you, what they really mean is, I need your supply. And if you give them that chance, the old cycle begins again. Idealize, devalue, discard, hoover, repeat. A loop with no end, where the more love you give, the more drained you become. Remember, a narcissist's remorse isn't awakening, it's a survival tactic. Don't mistake apology for transformation. Don't let beautiful memories blind you to the truth. The one who broke you cannot be the one who heals you. When they try to hoover you back, smile in silence and keep walking, because you owe them no more conversations. True freedom doesn't live in their apology, it lives in your resolve never to return. 4. The role of the repentant sinner when tears become tools of manipulation. When all their love-bombing tactics fail, when silence and temptation no longer work, the narcissist switches strategies. They take on a new role, the repentant sinner, the one who has seen the light and truly changed. But don't be fooled. It's just another mask in the endless theater of control. This time, they retell the story, but with a twist. Now, they are the victim. Suddenly, every wound belongs to them. Every mistake is rewritten. They become the one who was betrayed, misunderstood, abandoned in their weakest moment. Their tales are embroidered with tragedy and tears, just enough to melt your compassionate heart once again. You'll see them cry, speak with a trembling voice, sometimes even sob uncontrollably. But remember, tears are not always truth. For narcissists, tears are stage props. They don't cry because they feel your pain, they cry because the performance gives them back power. They'll say things like, I can't live without you. I've changed, I see everything now. You're the only one who ever truly understood me. It sounds sincere, but listen closely, their apologies lack accountability. Instead of saying, I'm sorry for hurting you, they'll say, I'm sorry you feel hurt. A subtle twist, shifting the blame to your emotions rather than admitting their actions. Then they'll paint a picture of a new future where they're finally loving, understanding, and healed. They'll promise to rebuild everything, to start over, to make this time different. But the truth is, nothing changes but the script. They don't grow, they evolve in manipulation. If you soften, if you believe in their new version, the same old pain will return in cycles. Hurt, apology, hope, hurt again. Each round drains more of your energy, self-worth, and confidence until you barely recognize yourself. Remember, narcissists don't regret hurting you. They regret losing control of you. They don't become better, they become better manipulators. 5. When they use your needs to control you, when sweet words stop working, when fake tears no longer sway you, the narcissist turns to their final weapon, manipulating through your needs. They know exactly what you long for, what you fear losing, what you still dream of, and they will use those things as leverage. If they hold anything you once desired, a promise, a gift, a job opportunity, or simply the feeling of being loved, they'll turn it into a tool of control. They know you once believed in the dream of a shared future, and they'll weaponize that hope to keep you bound. I was about to help you open that business, why leave now? I was going to transfer the money, but now I'm not sure anymore. I still love you. I just need time. Each sentence is a drop of honey in a poisoned cup. They make you hesitate, hope, and wonder, maybe I should wait a little longer. And in that hesitation, they regain control, pulling you back into dependence. Many narcissists also exploit financial or social power to maintain influence. They might cut off support, delay payments, or create shared debts, invisible chains to keep you from leaving. Some even use your name to borrow money, hiding behind us, while setting you up to bear the consequences later. Every move serves one goal: to make you feel small, helpless, and dependent. They want you to believe that without them, you lose everything: love, safety, money, reputation. And once doubt creeps in, they unleash their favorite tactic, blame shifting. I didn't do anything wrong. You're the one who ruined everything. You left when I needed you most. You're selfish. Each accusation pierces your self-worth, stirring guilt and confusion until you break and return. But never forget, control disguised as care is still control. When someone truly loves you, they give you freedom. When someone only wants to own you, they take away everything that makes you free. A narcissist may steal your money, your possessions, even the love you once gave. But there's one thing they can never touch: your self-respect and your inner sovereignty. Once you realize that, their game is over. They might keep the car, the apartment, or unfulfilled promises, but you, with an awakened heart and a restored will no longer be their supply. And that is your greatest victory, reclaiming what they can never buy: your freedom. 6. They hope to sabotage your new relationship when their envy can't tolerate your peace. Nothing makes a narcissist lose control more than seeing you happy without them. In their distorted mind, that isn't just a loss, it's an insult. You used to be a possession, a source of supply, feeding their ego. And now you're smiling beside someone else, eyes bright with a peace they could never give you. To a narcissist, that's unforgivable. So they won't sit still. Their jealousy turns into a storm of sabotage. They'll try to stain your image with rumors, lies, and stories tinted with truth. They may whisper to others that you've changed, that you cheated, that they are the one truly wounded. To outsiders, they play the pitiful, abandoned victim, while you become the cold betrayer. If they get the chance, they'll approach your new partner too. With a sympathetic face and a soft voice, they'll warn them that you're dangerous, dishonest, and that they just want what's best. This is the tactic of poisoning the well before being forgotten. They want to plant seeds of doubt, a vague comment, a distorted detail enough to make the other person hesitate, question, and unconsciously view you through their warped lens. But the cruelest attack isn't outside, it's inside you. A narcissist knows your soft spots: compassion, self-blame, fear of being misunderstood. They aim to reopen old wounds, to make you feel guilty for being happy, to make you wonder, maybe they're right, maybe I really am at fault. If you start to waver, they've won not because they destroyed your new love, but because they made you believe you don't deserve it. Understand this: their sabotage says nothing about you, it says everything about them. Someone who has truly moved on has no need to tear others down. Only the weak, the insecure, and the fearful drag others lower to feel taller. Their envy is proof that you're moving forward while they remain stuck. Protect your new happiness with quiet strength and maturity. Do not react. Do not justify. Do not enter their blame defense game. Let your happiness be the answer. Nothing hurts a narcissist more than seeing you peaceful, joyful, and utterly free of them. That isn't just the sweetest revenge. It's proof you've stepped out of their toxic orbit and reclaimed your life. And when they see you radiant in a new love, honest, healthy, and free, that is the moment they realize their power is gone for good. 7. They hope you'll be haunted by them when the narcissist tries to become a ghost in your mind. When every subtle tactic fails, when the masks of morality, kindness, and romance all fall away, the narcissist doesn't quit. They simply switch to another war, psychological warfare. Their final weapon is obsession. If they can't control you through love, guilt, or fear, they'll try to control you through memory. In their warped world, the worst outcome isn't that you hate them, it's that you forget them. So they'll do anything to become an indelible image in your mind. They want you to think of them when a song plays, when you walk down a certain street, when you see a familiar silhouette. They want you unable to live fully in the present, always snagged by the past they once ruled. To achieve this, they start sowing regret and guilt. They won't just wait for you to feel bad, they'll engineer scenarios to pull you back in. They post cryptic status updates like, "Trusting the wrong person was my mistake." Some people only love themselves until it's too late. Sometimes you don't see who's genuine until you lose them. Every word is a blade aimed at you, wrapped in the costume of a gentle victim. They know you'll see it. They want you to see it, to awaken guilt, unease, and pity. They won't stop there. They'll use social media and mutual friends as amplifiers. They'll lament, embellish, fabricate, or twist facts to cast themselves in a favorable light, turning you into the betrayer, the cold one, the heartbreaker of a good person. Some acquaintances, unaware of the truth, may sympathize with them, unintentionally becoming flying monkeys, helping to spread the smear. You might hear, "He really still cares about you. Are you sure you're not being too harsh? He was good to you in many ways." This is the social pressure ring. The narcissist constructs its goal is to make you doubt yourself. Maybe you were too firm. Maybe they do deserve another chance. But stop and look clearly. That repentance doesn't come from love. It comes from a wounded ego. They're not hurting because they lost you. They're hurting because they lost control. In a panic, they try to resurrect the old role of the noble victim, hoping you'll return just to prove they still matter. In their mind, you aren't allowed to be happy or free. You must remember them, regret them, be haunted by them. Because if you forget, it means they were never truly important. And for someone who survives on admiration and attention, that is a brutal sentence. So understand this. When they inject you with guilt, when they push you toward remorse, when they flood social media with ambiguous messages, it isn't love. It's the desperate flailing of a disintegrating ego. They don't want your heart, they want your mind. They don't want connection, they want control over your emotions. Don't let them have it. Every time you think of them, also remember why you had to leave. Every time guilt surfaces, remind yourself you did nothing wrong. And every time they try to haunt you with blame, smile calmly because you now see the game. You're no longer under their control. They can live in the past if they choose, but you, awakened, are living in freedom. And that is the one place they will never be able to reach. Escaping a narcissist is not just a physical departure, it is a spiritual rebirth. Because what you are escaping is not merely a person, but an entire emotional matrix built from manipulation, guilt, and the illusion of love. They once made you believe that without them, you were nothing, that you were fragile, weak, and incapable of standing on your own. But the moment you walked away, you discovered the opposite truth. You had always been strong. That strength was simply hidden beneath the fear they planted in you. When the narcissist launches their final blows, silence, threats, pleading, playing the victim, destroying your reputation, or haunting your mind, remember, they are not fighting for love, but for power. They don't miss you. They miss the control they once had over you. And when you stay silent, when you no longer react, no longer ache, no longer seek reasons or closure, that is the moment you reclaim all the energy they once stole. Always remember, the most beautiful revenge is peace. Not through words, not through proving yourself, but through being genuinely happy, genuinely free, and moving forward without looking back. Do not waste your energy trying to make them understand. They never will. To understand, one must have a heart. And to have a heart, one must have the courage to face oneself, something they eternally run from. But you, the survivor, the one who loved deeply and still chose to leave you, have nothing left to prove. True victory is not about defeating anyone. It's about looking back without hatred, only with clarity and gratitude for having chosen freedom. And one day, when the dawn rises over your life, you realize the storm did not leave ruins, it left behind someone new, stronger, wiser, and sovereign within. You didn't just escape the narcissist, you escaped the version of yourself they once imprisoned. They will continue living in their illusion of power. But you live in truth, peace, and freedom. And that is eternal justice.